The Persona 2021 Awards. What was once 96 characters has now been narrowed down to 6. By the end of this video, you will see who is objectively the best character in the Persona series. Oh, and Morgana's bracket was not worth making an entire video on. Like, look at it. The only main squad member from the games I played are Morgana and Koro. With Koro not being able to talk, and I've heard Maya was cool, but like I said, I've never played her game, so Morgana just kind of wins there. One quick thing I have to note before I start is that I judge Persona characters differently from any other game. I don't judge them in a vacuum, but rather I also value how close they are to the MC. Because Persona is a game about relationships and developing bonds, if they don't feel that close to the MC, or I feel like I wouldn't be close to them based on my personality, then I likely won't vibe with them as much. Some characters will resonate with people a lot harder than others because of their background and experiences. And so anyone doing this kind of list or tournament is going to be extremely subjective because of that. Except for mine, of course, because I only speak facts. But anyway, now we start with the final battles. First we have Ryse versus Aki. Ryse to me is a great character. Her confidant is great, and though it's not directly relatable for a lot of people, the message it sends about being confident about your choices and true to yourself above all is. And it ties in perfectly with the theme of the game. She's an energetic, happy character who's super confident, and I love that about her. It's like the little things you notice, how she's the one who introduces the King's game, or is the one who gives everyone chocolate during Valentine's Day. It shows she not only likes to have fun, but also cares about her friends. And while this energy can be a fault to others, because she's, considered a simp, it doesn't bother me as much. Like, yeah, it's excessive at times, but at least she's not gross about it. It's harmless flirting, and I don't think it should ruin her character entirely just for that. And so overall, I think she's great. And while I enjoy her presence a lot, and she's great to me, she is just so confident and extroverted to the point that she stops being relatable to me. She's great to have around, but also not like anyone I know that I'm friends with. And the key point there is friends. I've met a couple of Ryseis here and there, and they're very ambitious, outgoing people. But I feel those kind of people that my introverted, easygoing self wouldn't quite vibe well with. It's the type of person I could see myself being acquaintances with, but not close friends with. And that ultimately is what matters to me a lot in Persona, because this game is so focused on building relationships and maintaining friendships. Next on the list is Aki, man, the coolest, edgiest squad member in the series. Maybe it's the inner child in me that grew up adoring that badass, mysterious character like, Sonic Adventure 2 Knuckles or Robin, but Aki is literally that character for me in the Persona series. He's intimidating, gets stuff done, doesn't take shit from other people, he's just so alpha! I literally sound like Akihiko fan number 2, but dude, I seriously think that he's just so cool. The thing is though, this aspect of him kinda carries. He doesn't have a confidant for me to go off of, at least, in FES, which I played. And his story with Shinji, while great, isn't really related or intertwined with the MC. You just kind of watch Aki do his thing. And for the most part, this works. I am never bored when watching Aki scenes. His story is super interesting and very touching. Him trying so hard to console and care for Shinji is inspiring. And then the sense of duty afterwards to keep on pushing no matter what says a lot about him. Between these two characters, I feel logically I should pick Ryse. Like, my mind is saying Ryse, but my heart says Aki, man. He has just so much swagger. He's so cool, I can't help but pick him. Ryse's fantastic, but at the end of the day, I would pick the characters I admire, and because of that, I want to go with Aki. Now we got Aigis versus Nanako. Though this is technically only semi-finals, I'll let you in on a little something. These characters are my 1 and 2 favorites in the Persona series, so this is a big match. So let's start with Aigis. Not my favorite when she was introduced. The robotic way the VA talk made sense because, she's a robot, but it got old so fast, man, not gonna lie. She stays a decent character throughout, nothing crazy, until shit hits the fan in the plot. This is where Aigis explodes with character development and adoration. That whole badass thing with Ryuji was just the tip of the iceberg, like when she comes back from being repaired and breaks down in front of the group emotionally for wanting them to not suffer is so touching. Then her confidant, literally one of the best confidants ever! Ever! It ties in so well with the ending especially. It's a beautiful compliment to P3 MC's death that makes it that much more impactful. The monologue Aigis delivers, man, no one else in the game could have delivered that. No one. Absolutely no one besides Aigis. And for me, that is by far the most memorable part of Persona 3. And so I can't help but feel a strong association and liking for Aigis. I love how they expand on her immensely in the answer as well. Like, damn, oh, she is by far my favorite MC. So kind, so empathetic, beautiful, man. I love Aigis, my favorite party character, free. Then we got Nanako, everyone's younger sister that they must protect with their life. Nanako makes an instant impression in the beginning of Persona 4. When she starts singing the Jeunesse theme, that's when you realize it, bro. That's when you must protect her with everything you got. She has one of the most fleshed out, well-developed stories, since you not only learn about her through her confidant, not only through Dojima's confidant, not only throughout the game, but also through literally everyone else's confidant where she makes cameos. She's a wholesome child that is one of the most tragic characters in this series. She is so alone, not only physically, but emotionally as well, because of the strained relationship with her father that arises from her mother who was killed. She has one of the best palaces in the entire game, which features the best song in the series, in my opinion. That whole thing where she actually dies is beyond emotional, and I just adore her. And listen, I could talk about both of these characters for decades, but let's cut to the facts. Nanako is by your side from the beginning. While Igis is a team member and you arguably see her presence longer, I didn't adore her nearly as much till the end. But even then, take away the fact that Nanako is a commanding presence for longer, what it boils down to is that Aigis is the one that does everything to protect you, while Nanako is the one you do everything to protect. And when it comes down to it, I feel more attached and invested in the one I must protect. Call it a human instinct, but Nanako, man, I seriously adore her, and is what, in my opinion, makes Persona 4 the game it is. Aigis is fantastic, makes Persona 3 as well, but Nanako wins this one for me. Next we got Dojima and Morgana. I'll start with Morgana just because I didn't talk about him in any video yet. So unlike most people, I actually adore Morgana. Hear me out, okay? He starts off as this ugly ass cat with a huge ass head, but he's interesting. I like that he comes off as smart and conniving compared to fucking Teddy, who's just dumb from the beginning and just remains dumb for the entirety of the game. Morgana carries the thieves in the beginning in terms of planning and objectives, and even when big brains like Makoto and Futaba come through, he never takes a backseat role. He's tight with Joker from the beginning, stays by his side throughout, and is just always loyal. But okay, yeah, we can't really talk about Morgana without mentioning the cringe arc he has with Ryuji. While I agree Morgana was annoying here, I do think people shit on him more than he deserves. Ryuji inadvertently results Morgana where it hurts, since being useless was something he was genuinely insecure about. And so in this period, where he was doubting it more and more only to get called that by Ryuji, was just kind of a break the camel's back moment. Which again, wasn't meant on purpose by Ryuji. For Morgana, yeah, he shits on Ryuji a lot, but Ryuji has shown he could take it, you know? Morgana never says anything Ryuji is actually insecure about. Like if Morgana said some shit about the track team or something, it would have been a lot different. But throughout the game, they just have this obvious, clear dynamic where Morgana is just annoying to Ryuji and Ryuji back. It's just a relationship. The moment in the game is just one of insecurity for Morgana in that specific moment of the plot. And so I understand him getting that much more frustrated and upset when he feels his team views him this way. Again, cringe overall, but I'm willing to let it slide because Morgana in the end becomes a more confident cat that admits how much he cares for his homies. Loyal throughout, funny, simp but not gross or pervy in any way, and then smart. Morgana is overall a great character for me. I've talked about Dojima before, but overall I adore this man. Great father figure that doesn't start out like an asshole like Sojiro does. His relationship with Nanako makes the game 10 times more interesting. His confidant and Nanako's intertwining give you so much insight to him as well. And man, when Nanako is taken, it was just so intense to see Dojima under both emotional and physical turmoil. It shows he cares about her so much, and about you, too. Their relationship gets strained at some points because of the suspicion Dojima has in the cases, but Dojima never has resentment towards you, and always values his role as a father to him, or uncle to him, more than anything. Great character, I absolutely adore him. Now, between the two, it's like choosing between your annoying younger brother or your cool uncle. Like, yeah, your brother's annoying, but you guys went through a lot together, and your uncle may be cool, but you're not boys with him, you know? For me though, I'm gonna have to choose Morgana. He's actually one of my favorite characters in the series, and though Dojima is great, I can't imagine Persona 5 without Morgana there with you every step of the way. Dojima is super present in Persona 4 as well, but not nearly as much as Morgana. Okay, and so we've made it to the final three. Aki, Nanako, and Morgana. One from each of the series, how fitting. The thing is though, the P3 and P5 reps aren't even my favorite characters in their own games. Meanwhile, Nanako, Nanako is my favorite character in the series, baby. Call me you with having that younger sister complex, but I absolutely adore her. Persona 4 is nothing without her. She is the glue that holds it together, the emotional crux of the game, the most wholesome little girl out there. Nanako absolutely wins. This is all hers. Woo! Now for second place. Between Aki and Morgana, listen, as much as I adore Aki, I'm gonna have to go for Morgana with this one. Listen, again, Aki is cool, one of the most unique characters in the series, has a touching arc, is amazing, but also for a lot of the game, he's just kind of doing his own thing. He's just present a lot of the time. He's not homies with the MC, not too present in calling the shots like Mitsuru or Yukari. He's just that reliable dude you can count on, which is great. But ultimately, I am more attached to Morgana, the homie by your side from day one, helping you reach your goal and always having your back. And so that's it, the entirety of the Persona 2021 bracket. I already knew Nanako was going to end up number 1 from the start, but I really like pitting the other characters against each other. It was super fun to think about how much I like or dislike characters throughout the series. And so overall, super fun, and again, huge shout out to Jamesy Too Cool for coming up with this. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you later.